Just Keep Parenting friends. Glad you joined us again. Today I wanted to talk a little bit more about the skill of making choices. There's some other videos about how to speak to children using the language of children that are here on this channel. But today I want to visit the skill of making choices, because choices, we want to empower our children, right? We want to help them build self-esteem and willpower, and they can when they're offered choices. As I watch the children that come in and they're so proud of themselves. I mean, nothing matches, but they say, Miss Dory, I got to choose my own clothes today, right? What do you think? It's like, yes, it's great when we get to have choices like that, right? When you think of a 4-year-old's world, they don't get to control very much of it. So anytime we can pass that control over to them, it really does empower what they can do and helps to provide learning experiences for them to get willpower, right? We use choices a lot. I talk about it with my students as looking at it like a funnel. And so sometimes the funnel is big at the top, right? And there's certain kids that just do great with general choices. But some kids are clear at the bottom of that funnel. And sometimes we don't even start up here, right? We start down here at the bottom of the funnel as we help them with their choices. You've probably all been in a situation where you ask a yes/no question and say, do you want to come over here? No, thanks, right? You're essentially offering them a choice, right? When in reality, you didn't mean to offer the choice. What you meant to say was, hey, buddy, come on over here, right? My teachers deal with that on a regular basis. Do you want to come play with me? Do you want to come play with us? And the kids are like, no. So we talk to them about there's a good time to have a choice and a not so good time to have a choice, right? And sometimes that directness, if they don't know you very well, or if they know you too well, they'll say, no, don't want to come play. So I say to the teachers, if you say to them, come look at what we're doing. Look at what we're doing with these Q-tips today. Look at what we're doing with the glue today, right? The curious part of them will come over, right? And so there's good and bad times to do choices, but today what we're going to talk about is the skill of making choices, right? Because sometimes we want to make our children do things. So we use subtle manipulation instead of choices, right? An example of that was in the book where they said, you can either do your homework tonight or you can't go to the soccer game on Saturday, right? You want your child to do their homework. That's what your goal is, right? That's the outcome that you want. And so you have to help them you have to help design the environment or create the situation so that they will choose to do their homework, right? And so rather than subtly manipulating them, we can say things like, your homework needs to be done, right, tonight. So do you want to do it in the kitchen while I'm in there with you, or do you want to do it in your bedroom, right? The outcome, right, the consequence is your homework needs to be done tonight, right? Now, I can make you do that homework, right? I can scare you into it. I can manipulate you into it. But that's not teaching the kids that power of willpower. And so if I say to them, sweetie, your homework has to be finished tonight because it's due tomorrow, right? So explaining the why, and then say, so do you want to do it in the kitchen with me right now, or do you want to do it in your bedroom, right? Another thing that we talk about with chores and the kids is, okay, so this chore needs to be done. So do you want to do it before you go to school or after you come home from school, right? Then you're giving them that responsibility, right? You're taking that responsibility off of you and helping the children obtain that responsibility and then follow through. And as they do that, they're going to gain more willpower, right? More self-esteem as they learn how to do those things on their own and not feeling like they're forced into it, not feeling like they're manipulated into it, right? And so it helps build the value of commitment when we help our kids figure this out. We talked last week in the skill of assertiveness, right? Is that fear focuses on what we don't want and love focuses on what we do want. And so we want to help them figure that out, that homework is a good thing for them. It may not be what they want to do all the time, but it is one of those things that we do to learn and get better. So let me help you by setting up the situation, setting up the environment so that the outcome is the same. I think that one of the things that we use a lot in the classroom is being able to help the children to say, okay, so yesterday, for example, we had a child who was screaming in the dramatic play area. And I had heard her scream, and I'd let the teacher that was over there try to deal with it, and nothing happened. So I just casually sauntered over there, and I just said to the child, sweetie, that makes people nervous because when people scream in the classroom, it sounds like somebody might be hurt, right? You're welcome to use that outside where there's lots of open air, but when you scream in here, A, it makes people nervous, and B, you probably hurt people's ears. So if you want to play over here, you're welcome to do that, right? But if you're going to scream, then you're going to need to change a center. She said, oh, okay, all right, right. So she's been offered that choice. She knows the outcome, that she's going to need to leave the center, right? So you're going to find a new center if you continue to scream, right? And some people might say, well, is that manipulating, right? But she knows up front, right? She knows up front that this is what the consequence is. And so next time she screamed, I just walked over. I said, sweetie, I know, Miss Story, I got to choose another center. I just forget sometimes, right? And I love that because it's almost like a repentance process, right? It's like, I know. And she said, I can come back, right? When I remember. I said, you bet you can totally come back, right? So helping them to understand those nuances of social groups. We had another situation where one of the little girls wanted snack, and we have to keep the children 6 feet apart when they have their masks off so that they don't transmit anything. And she didn't want to move. And so the teachers were over there trying to, calm her and help her feel good. And I just looked at her and I said, sweetie, if you want to eat snack, you need to come over here on this dot. She looked at me and she said, but I want that snack. I said, you can totally have it, but you can't sit over there by the other people, right? Because they're too close. Remember, we take our masks off, so you have to come far away. She moved right over, got her snack, opened her cheese, and was just fine, right? So helping them to set up the situation, set up the scenario, set up the environment so that they can make that choice, right? That's one of our main jobs as adults in children's lives, as teachers, as parents, as caregivers, right, is to help them have that willpower and have that self-esteem. There's some misnomers out there that, if we pet them long enough, they're going to have self-esteem. If we tell them how beautiful they are, they're going to have that self-esteem, right? But really the reality is if they can make choices, right? One of the things that will help with that too is if we use our words to be, we say a lot of, will you do this for me, right? Will you tuck in your chair for me? And one of the things that we work with the teachers is it's a lot easier for me to tuck in that chair, right? So you're not doing it for me, you're helping them to learn that responsibility, right? That skill of responsibility. And so put it back on them to be able to say, hey buddy, you sat in the chair, so make sure you push it in so nobody trips over it. They know the why, they know it's their responsibility because you've given it to them, you've given them that power. And so one of the things that the teachers are continually working on is just to take that for me out of their vocabulary, right? It's different if you really are asking them to do it for you. Hey, I can't get up right now, can you bring that to me, right? Can you do that for me? They're totally bringing it for me, right? But when it's something that we're just doing to make it sound a little nicer, right? We just need to put that power back to them. You don't have to say it meanly. Hey, buddy, tuck in your chair, buddy. You were sitting here. So anyway, just some thoughts to think about this week as you help children gain that skill of making choices, right? Remembering that the only person that we can change is ourselves, going back to the power of free will. And so our job is to help them make those choices. Have a great week, enjoy it, and we'll see you back next week. Thanks for joining us today.